Therefore, not even a single spot. Wow, that's really ridiculous. You know, I was wondering whether you thought coin stores would buy for half price or perhaps better. On these, less than 50%. Oh, is that so? I have purchased numerous varieties of silver from the United States Mint over the years. Two of these varieties, which I once adored, have since shifted my opinion. First, I will explain what they are, and then I will explain why they are important. This was the worst trading day for Wall Street since the 1987 meltdown. It's currently 43% lower. There hasn't been a recession of this magnitude in decades. In a gold or silver IRA, you may safeguard your retirement. Find out more about IRAs at sdbullion.com. Much obliged for your time. My deepest gratitude is due for it. Before I go into the two varieties of US Mint coins that I do not advise for stacking or investing, I would like to briefly go over some of the points I have already made. Commencing with the Americas, let's have a look at those lovely silver quarters. These are beautiful beyond words. Purchase of these items is an enjoyable experience. Oregon is the home state of this particular one. This quarter represents Mount Hood. The 5 ounces of silver in it make it worth far more than a quarter, so you could spend it in a store if you wanted to. However, I wouldn't encourage it. 2 distinct finishes were actually released for them. I have them on hand, but yep, that's a great series. Each state was covered by one. Plus we have silver scrap. Of them, 90% is silver and 10% is copper. All of these silver dimes, quarters, and half dollars were struck by the United States Mint before 1965. With that said, I thoroughly like purchasing this merchandise. For stacking, it is suggested. Furthermore, I possess a number of American Silver Eagles in tubes, including a handful that have been graded. However, I like to purchase American Silver Eagles in their unprocessed form, dated 1996, this one. One of the rarest bullion Silver Eagles is this one. It's a great work with some lovely blue tones on it. However, I will begin by mentioning the war nickels as an example of a coin that I no longer appreciate. I see. These are nickels from Jefferson. From 1942 to 1945, they were struck. To put the nickel to use in the war effort, they actually began in the middle of 1942, which is why these coins were known as war nickels, issued during World War II, so 35% silver is in these. Copper and manganese are also present in them. I made a video on these stacking games around 6 years ago, since I used to adore them. I can play a clip from it if you like. This constitutional silver is the most minute of all of its constituent parts. A fraction even smaller than a silver dime. So trustworthy, so easily recognized. Because they are so little, these are practically never faked. There's no use in shelling out that kind of cash to make $1 by forging something similar, is there? Because of their weight, your safe will be compromised, thereby rendering it insecure. Plus, the price is absolutely insanely low. Therefore, I fail to understand why you would not be stacking these. There were some valid comments made there, and I believe some of them are relevant even now. Everything changes, though, when you consider purchasing these coins with the intention of investing in them. Let me describe the other coin type that has lost my favor before I explain why I am not a fan of these. And there are the Kennedy half dollars, which are 40% silver. Coins like this were struck from 1965 to 1970. I also made a video elaborating on my feelings over these. Similar to my stance on the war nickels, I think it would be cool to show you a little bit of the video. Keep in mind that there may come a time when you'll need to utilize your silver as currency when you're stacking it, such as when the SHTF or other catastrophic events occur. Given that they each contain approximately 0.7 ounces of silver, it's safe to say that they can be crushed to release significantly more silver than a whole ounce, isn't it? Therefore, it will be quite difficult to divide up an ounce of silver if its price increases much in the future. The ability to purchase, trade, and use fractional silver is convenient. Kennedy halves, which contain 40% silver, are among the best prices on silver that you can get. These days, I can get these at spot price or even lower at nearly any coin store I visit. This is a fantastic choice if you are seeking to obtain silver at a low cost. Also, you make some valid arguments. My thoughts on these coins, though, have evolved over time. I began making movies at Harry's Coin Shop, which is a major factor in that. What are the worst silver coin varieties to stack? We cover that and more in one of the movies. The dealer's point of view was also shared with me. Now we can watch a little excerpt from that movie. Therefore, we are investigating the possibility of stacking some of the items. Silver eagles, silver rounds, silver bars, and maples, 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 you name it. In a word, yes, final video. On the other hand, what could possibly be terrible to stack? Is there anything you'd rather not do? Listen, I'll spill the beans. Some 100 coin traders will loathe me even more after watching this video. Unfortunately, we need to be honest with the audience. I'll have Adrian go over the most typical items first. I understand. Here we are, so what? Further nickels with a 35% silver content are available here. Are you sure this is a World War II era nickel from the United States Mint between 42 and 45? In order to contribute to the war effort, they began producing them from silver halfway through the year 42. Nickel was utilized for strategic purposes, such as weaponry, among other things. So yeah, these were 35% silver from 42 to 45. The melt value of them is around $1.27 a piece. I understand. There is, however, a considerable disparity when it comes time to sell them. Yes, you can bet that the majority of coin dealers will offer you significantly less than $1 for those. Oh, is that so? Yeah. Could it be that not even a hint? Oh no, not at all. By a wide margin. Do you really believe that coin merchants would be willing to purchase for half of spot or perhaps more? Perhaps a fraction of that on these. Oh, is that so? If you remember a previous video when we discussed things that refiners despise, this is one of those things. The amount of waste produced by anything less than 80% silver is excessive. Because of all the waste, you will only receive around 60% of the melt from the refiner. My point is not that collecting them isn't entertaining. You can exchange one nickel for a silver piece if you obtain one as change. However, it's not a smart strategy when it comes to stacking. Then, Adrian, which one is this? Half of them are 40%. From 1965 to 1970, these were thus struck. I understand. They have 40% silver, as I mentioned before. These also melt for around $3.35. When it's time to sell them or figure out what to do with them, we occasionally wind up selling them under melt, similar to the war nickel. In short, coins with lesser silver percentages, those that aren't sterling, for instance, are less attractive and don't resell for much. Very much so. You should plan to get rid of it eventually. Dealers in coins will offer you a lot less than that. It will be more difficult to explain than constitutional of the 3 or 4 nines fine silver rounds that are available, so keep that in mind if you ever anticipate needing it for bartering. And that is all there is to it. I had paid close to $1 for each of these military nickels when I finally got around to doing the arithmetic. I still wouldn't earn any money selling these to a coin store, even though the price of silver has risen from $18 per ounce when I bought them to almost $40 per ounce now. In all candor, I could still use these coins as bartering chips and likely extract a substantial amount of value from them. But I would likely lose money if I simply took these to a coin store and sold them like any other silver investment. Unless, of course, silver refining technique improves or whatever, I do not see this situation improving anytime soon. Hence, I would not advise purchasing these coins at this time or for the near future. As an investor, I just do not believe in purchasing anything with a quality rating lower than 90%. Purchasing pure American silver eagles is the best way to get silver from the United States Mint. I used to really enjoy these before COVID, but my feelings about them shifted when supplies became extremely low and prices skyrocketed. Thanks to a decline in premiums, nevertheless, I am enjoying stacking American silver eagles again. Both novice and seasoned stackers can benefit from this video, in my opinion. You are familiar with the war nickels. You're familiar with the 40%ers. You are aware that the acquisition and purchase of such items is really inexpensive. On the flip side, you should avoid selling these things to coin shops if at all possible, since they will likely make a loss. Keep that in mind as you stack these items. Please use the comment area below to inform me if you have anything further to say. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in my future video. The silver dragons are not available anymore. The transcription was performed by turboscribe.ai. Remove this message by subscribing to Unlimited.